So welcome everybody. My name is Paweł Mączka and my special guest today is Simon Coter. Hello, Simon.
Yeah, thank you, Paweł. Yeah, first of all, I would like to thank you and also to thank the Open Virtualization Pro community for this kind of opportunity to share again what we are doing on Oracle VM VirtualBox and also the option to talk on our solution, on our open source solution.
So the goal is we will go with Simon with the slides first, then we'll go to the live demo, and in the end we'll take the QA session. Of course, if you will have any question during the presentation, feel free to ask, but first use the chat. After that, on the QA session, we will have an option to unmute. But I will moderate the chat, so please, Simon, start. The stage is yours, and we have 40 minutes, so let's wrap up and discuss the VirtualBox basic functionality.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you so much, Paweł. Yeah, so first of all, let me introduce myself. As you can see on this slide, my name is Simon Coter. I'm Senior Manager in the Product Management team for Linux and Virtualization at Oracle. Today responsible for both the Linux side as well as the virtualization, both the server and desktop virtualization at Oracle. I joined the company, it was 16 years ago. Different type of experiences within Oracle, and around 5 years ago I joined the product management team. The session I'm going to share with you today is going to share the basic functionalities that we have on VirtualBox, and also to share what we have done lately on the product and all the possible enhancement that we addressed into Oracle VM VirtualBox. So let's start with obviously our safe harbor statement. So what I'm going to share with you, it's really what we have today. So there is no anything that can change from what we have today, but it could happen that maybe I could talk on something that should happen or could happen in the next future. And at that point, obviously, it's important to know that there's no commitment from Oracle on if I'm going to talk on something that will happen in the future. So VirtualBox, I think that everyone knows VirtualBox. As you know, VirtualBox is a desktop virtualization solution. Is free and open source. The cool point of VirtualBox is that it's the same product available on all the x86 operating systems, and so you can find the same product on Microsoft Windows, Mac OS X, Linux, as well as Solaris operating system. And the cool point is that on top of VirtualBox, you can even run any type of x86 operating system. So you can think to VirtualBox as a sort of transparent layer between your hardware and the operating system that you want to run on top. Into VirtualBox, you have a great GUI, where at the end you can manage everything. It's very simple, and one of our targets, sincerely speaking, is to maintain the simplicity of the product in the time. So we do not want to have a complex GUI, because we perfectly know that it's important to keep everything there as simple as possible. At the same time, it's also important to know that we have a very powerful CLI interface for VirtualBox. And so by a command named vbox manage, you can execute all the possible operations and all the possible customizations on your virtual machines running on VirtualBox. With VirtualBox, we are compliant to a standard that is the open virtualization format. So by VirtualBox, you can export and import VMs based on this standard virtualization format. We have the concept of shared folders. What does it mean? It means that while creating a VM on top of VirtualBox, you can decide to have a sort of shared folder between the host operating system and the guest, and so the virtual machine operating system. So a real shared folder between the two that does not require any kind of particular network configuration. So it's there, it's part of the guest addition that you can install on the virtual machine running on top. And lately, and this is other a very important point, video and 3D. Lately, we worked so much to improve the 3D experience for VMs running on top of VirtualBox, because we perfectly know that most of our customers, as well as the VirtualBox community, is also interested to possibly get 3D or a good level of 3D performance for VMs running on top of VirtualBox. Yeah, lately on VirtualBox, we started also to introduce a new important concept. Actually, our target for VirtualBox is really to use VirtualBox as a platform for developers, because at the end, by leveraging VirtualBox, you can develop on any kind of operating system. But at the same time, we want also to see VirtualBox as a possible tool leveraged by developers to get the same images running on the cloud. So what does it mean? It means that by leveraging VirtualBox, if you are part, for example, of a development team, at that point, it does not matter which operating system you run on your laptop. So, you know, into one development team, you can have someone running Linux, Windows, macOS. Yeah, by leveraging VBox, everyone can run the same operating system or the same virtual machine on top of VirtualBox. That said, the cool point here is that we are working to supply very easy to use steps and very easy to use utilities to get a possible development environment running on VirtualBox moved to the cloud and running as a production system. Another concept that I also want to share is that, and this is also due to the fact that in the last 5 years, I heard more than one time someone saying Oracle is going to close the VirtualBox project, VirtualBox is going to die. That kind of thing is completely false. Oracle is investing a lot on VirtualBox, and at the same time, Oracle is really, if you want, one unique product within Oracle. It's one unique product within Oracle because we really have development and support internally at Oracle working on the product, but at the same time, we have a vibrant community participation. So we have a vibrant community, even on virtualbox.org website, on the forum over there, on the different interactions that there are between the community and the developers working at Oracle. So it's quite unique, and no one is going to stop the project. No one is going to close the VirtualBox project. Oracle is still investing on it. We are doing so much, and we are doing even better than in the past now on VirtualBox. And here is just to show the how VirtualBox is built. So on VirtualBox, we have two different packages. We have the base packages the base package that at the end is the installer, or the package that you install on your host operating system. And it consists of all the open source components, and this kind of package is licensing under the GNU, so the GPL version 2 license. And the base package is totally free for personal and business use. So it does not matter which kind of usage you're doing for the base package, it's free. Our customers obviously can distribute, can modify it, can build even other solution on top of the same. And the base package contains all the basic hypervisor features. Then that said, we have the extension pack. The extension pack is a binary. Covered by a license, the PUL license, so the personal use and evaluation license. Even the extension pack can be used for free. So the extension pack can be used for free for personal and educational use. While if you're doing business or you're doing a commercial use of the extension pack, at that point, a license is required. Due to the fact that the extension pack is a binary, it cannot be redistributed. And the enterprise features that are part of the extension pack are, for example, the option to expose USB-free devices to your VM, the VirtualBox remote desktop protocol, so the option to remotely manage your VMs, even if those VMs do not have a network connection, and others, other cool features like, for example, the disk image encryption, NVMe emulation, and last but not least, the export and import to and from the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. And we are going to see further details on this option later. Now, another topic on which we are investing a lot is the integration between VirtualBox and Vagrant. Vagrant is a product coming from or built by HashiCorp. HashiCorp is the same company that also builds, for example, Terraform and different providers for Terraform. What is a Vagrant box? A Vagrant box is a ready-to-run VM that you can run on top of VirtualBox, as well as other hypervisors. And lately, we worked a lot on the possible automation that is there between Vagrant and VirtualBox. And in fact, on yum.oracle.com/boxes, you can also find Oracle Linux 6, 7, and 8 ready-to-run boxes that you can leverage to automatically get Oracle Linux installed on top of VirtualBox. Those images, the cool point of those images is that by executing one single command, you can get the operating system up and running on top of VirtualBox. And again, even here, Vagrant is a solution available on all the x86 operating systems. So again, it does not matter if you run Linux, Windows, or Microsoft or macOS. Vagrant and VirtualBox are available on all of them. And those are a sort of base boxes, where at the end you get the only operating system up and running on top of VirtualBox. That said, we also started to work on another project that is there on GitHub. So again, we are talking about an open source thing. And on GitHub, you can find other Vagrant images dedicated to Oracle products. Those images are today dedicated to Oracle products, like, for example, the Oracle database, Oracle Linux Cloud Native environment, Kubernetes, obviously different Oracle Linux releases, and other options for the Oracle database, like, for example, the Oracle Data Guard, Oracle Reapplication Cluster, and even LAMP, so Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP architecture on top of Oracle Linux 7. And again, even here, by leveraging those solutions, by executing a single command, for example, you can get a Kubernetes cluster up and running on top of VirtualBox. I'm going later to deep dive into some examples on those boxes and the option that we have available there. 6.0. Now, I'm going to share with you what we have done lately on the VirtualBox releases. We introduced VirtualBox 6.0 that was, I think, end of 2018. And over there, one of the most important enhancements had been the capability to export a VM to the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. And when I say export a VM to Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, I mean get your local VM actually running on VBox, on VirtualBox, moved and running on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure by 4 or 5 clicks on the GUI. That's all. So we worked a lot on this, and we worked on the integration between Oracle VM VirtualBox and Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. Into the same release, we also introduced the other enhancement and new features, like, for example, the guest control file manager. So the opportunity or the option to have a file manager between the host and the guest operating system. As already said before, we improved the 3D graphics support. We introduced the first official Oracle documentation dedicated to Oracle VM VirtualBox. And we also had other minor enhancement or items. For example, we introduced the support for QCOW2 version 3 for the virtual disks. We introduced a new graphic type like the VM SVGA, the option or the support for UE5 secure boot for your VMs running on top of VirtualBox. At the end of 2019, we introduced Oracle VM VirtualBox 6.1. And over there, the most important topic or the most important enhancement had been the import from the cloud. So while on 6.0 we worked to grant or to introduce the opportunity to move from VirtualBox to the cloud into 6.1, vice versa, we introduced the option to move from the cloud to VirtualBox. And in fact, now into Oracle VM VirtualBox 6.1, again, with 4 or 5 clicks, you can get an instance running on the cloud, cloned and moved on your local installation of Oracle VM VirtualBox. That said, we worked also on other items. We announced the experience related to the export to the Oracle Cloud, and we worked on this point mostly on the customer feedback that we received. We introduced the nested hardware virtualization on Intel CPUs. So today, on top of VirtualBox 6.1, you can also decide to run another hypervisor. We announced it, and we are still working also on 3D support. And we also introduced the first CLI option to possibly manage remote VMs running on the Oracle Cloud. So by the CLI, even today, you can start OCI instances, so VMs that are running on the Oracle Cloud. That said, we also have a white paper dedicated to the cloud functionalities, but I'm also going to show you a couple of quick examples later during this webinar. Yeah, that said, if you think on the main 3 points I've talked about until now, so the option to automate the build on VBox, and that said, leverage VirtualBox as your development or test platform. When you're ready by the GUI or even by the CLI, obviously, you can automate the deployment on the Oracle Cloud. Again, by VirtualBox, and obviously, and over there, you can run your production system. And again, by VirtualBox, you can import back your instance, because we perfectly know that while developing or while working on an application, when the application is done or when the application is production ready, your job is not completed. So you still need, or you still have to work on the application, possibly improve the same or introduce bug fixes for your application. So test and develop on VBox, export to OCI when the application is production ready. That said, run your production system or production service on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. That said, you have the option to come back. So get, for example, your production system cloned back to VirtualBox, and again, test and develop locally on your VirtualBox machine. So this is, at the end, the entire life cycle, if you want, that we have built, and the main target that we have. So we would like to see Oracle VM VirtualBox as the appliance builder for the cloud. Today, everything is there and available for the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, but no one stops us to possibly introduce further options. And and that said, even the community can think to possibly introduce further options or further integration with VirtualBox. Just a quick mention related to the nested virtualization, because it's something that our community was looking for from a huge amount of time. So today, nested virtualization is there. It's there on AMD CPUs as well as Intel CPUs. And while looking on the GUI, you can check that you have a new checkbox where you can enable the nested virtualization for your VM. At the end, by this kind of option, you will have the opportunity, for example, to run another hypervisor on top of VirtualBox, like, for example, Oracle VM, as well as Oracle Linux KVM, or even any other hypervisor. And the cool point is that you can even run or decide to run container solution that require the VTX or virtualization features available on the CPU, like, for example, Kata container.
Simon, one question we got on the chat, so I think it's a good option to right now ask. First one is nested hardware virtualization supports Solaris kernel zones in VMs. So this is the first one.
Yeah, I think that if you're talking or if you're looking for it on the x86 CPU, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and another question: can you share the Vagrant boxes hyperlink again? So one of the audience would like to see it.
Yeah. So let me see. So we have yam.oracle.com/boxes, where you can find the base boxes. So the only operating system 6, 7, and 8, right? And then on GitHub, github.com/oracle/vagrant-boxes, you can find all the automation that allows you to get different Oracle products up and running. Are we going, Paweł, at the end of the session, are we going to share the slide deck?
Yeah. So
okay.
Just right now mention for the Philip, but no worries, we'll share the slide deck. So let's move on. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Moving ahead, yeah, I already talked about the nested virtualization that is there. Yeah, I want also to mention one cool utility that is there from VirtualBox 5.2, if I'm not wrong. This kind of utility can be really helpful if you are encountering any kind of issue and you are going, for example, to get in touch with the Oracle support or as well as the VirtualBox community. So by this command line utility named VBox bug report, you can collect all the possible required logs while someone needs to debug a possible issue. So if you're going to open a ticket, or if you're going to open a thread on the VirtualBox forum, as well as opening a service request to the Oracle support, collecting all the VirtualBox logs by this utility will save you a huge amount of time, just because by executing the command, you can collect all the possible logs related to your environment. And at the point, you won't have to look for a specific file or another log file. Everything will be there, and it does not matter where you have installed VirtualBox, if you have a different path or a different log path. By leveraging this kind of utility, you can collect everything, share the package to the community as well as the Oracle support, and start from there to debug your issue. Yeah, the documentation. Lately we also worked a lot on the documentation for Oracle VM VirtualBox, and now we have an official Oracle.com virtualization dedicated to the product, and the same is available there. By the way, even if you want to look just now to the documentation by looking to or by Googling, for example, Oracle VM VirtualBox Oracle documentation, you will find the link, and over there you can find the documentation for the different VirtualBox releases. Yeah, that said, I think that it's now the time for the demo. Let's see now my terminal. Let's try to get maybe a bigger character. Can you see the terminal, Paweł?
Yeah, it's good. We can go forward.
Great. So let's start, for example, with the base boxes that we have there for Oracle Linux. So on Vagrant, we have a concept of Vagrant project. A Vagrant project is just a directory. So I can create my project. Okay, within a Vagrant project, so within a directory, you are going to have one unique Vagrant file. One unique Vagrant file. Vagrant file is the configuration file for your project. And into this unique file, you can define one or more VMs that will take part of your project, of your Vagrant project. Now, I'm going to just initialize the Vagrant file, and I'm going to build a project containing one unique VM. I'm going, for example, now here, just to share with you, this is a Linux system where I'm running Oracle Linux 7, if I'm not wrong. Now I'm going to initiate a project containing this VM, OL8 latest, okay? At this point, you can see we have a Vagrant file. Into the Vagrant file, we have the configuration for this Vagrant box. This is the base configuration. So we are just saying, yeah, the VM that is going to start is OL8 latest. And then there are so many options. I'm going to deep dive in some of them later. But now let's see. By executing Vagrant up, Vagrant immediately starts to import the base box. If the base box is not available on your system, Vagrant will automatically download the same from internet, so from the Vagrant catalogs that are available. And I'm going to share with you where you can find boxes. Now, it's really important because Oracle Linux 8 latest is already available on my system. Yeah, here we have a very important point. So for my VM that is starting on top of VirtualBox, an automatic forwarded port is configured. So the port number 22 on the guest will be automatically redirected to 2222 on my host, right? Now, here we have the SSH key. So Vagrant automatically add a private key to the VM on the first boot. And so you will have the option to get access without any kind of password. Automatically, you also get a shared folder configured for your Vagrant box, so for your VirtualBox VM running on top. Now, the VM is up, and if, for example, if I check, I can see that I have this VM. This is a VirtualBox VM up and running, started by Vagrant. I can check and see that on my system, I have a service listening on port 2222, right? Now, if I want to get access to my Linux VM, the command that I have to execute is Vagrant SSH. I'm in. And if I check the Oracle Linux release, as you can see, we have Oracle Linux Server Release 8.0. This is the kernel. Now I'm connected as Vagrant. By sudo, I can get root access to my VM. And as you can see, it's a new VM running on top of VirtualBox. The cool point, shared folder. This is the shared folder between the host and the guest. So everything is automatically configured. You do not have to worry about shared folders, guest additions, or you do not have to worry about the password, the SSH key, Vagrant init, Vagrant up, Vagrant SSH. And you have your VM up and running, and you can connect to the VM, and you can do whatever you want on your VM. And if I check, so this is a VM running on a remote system that I have in the Oracle network. If I check, even on the VirtualBox GUI, I can see my VM up and running. So 2 commands to get the VM up and running, and 1 command to get access into the same, right? Now I'm going to destroy this VM. Destroy means I'm going to shut down and then delete the VM. And this is an example of Oracle Linux 8. That said, let's see here. Only one moment. On yam.oracle.com/boxes. As you can see here, we have Oracle Linux 8.1, 7.7, and 6.10. And those are the URL of the boxes that you can get, right? And here commands on how to get access to those boxes. So here you have an example. That said, those are the boxes available for Oracle Linux. That said, if you look for Vagrant app catalog, there is the official app catalog, Vagrant app catalog, available on HashiCorp website. And here you can find any Linux release. You can find Ubuntu, you can find Fedora, you can find Oracle Linux, CentOS, and any other possible option. You just need to look for one of them. Let's do an example. I want to run Ubuntu 19.04. Okay, this one is there. I can check which commands are required to get Ubuntu up and running, and this one is the first one. I can use this command. So let's go back to Coter project. Remove the existing Vagrant file. Run this command. A new Vagrant file is built. Okay. Now let me see if I have the proxy configured. Yeah, it's there. So now when I execute Vagrant app, as you can see, Vagrant looks for the generic Ubuntu, but it cannot be found, right? So Vagrant automatically looks and download the base box from internet. Based on your network bandwidth, you will have to wait maybe some minutes to get the VM available. But the important thing to know is that the download only happens the first time. So now I will have to wait 12 minutes to get the Ubuntu 19.04 available and up and running on my system. The following ones with the same operating system will immediately build without waiting for anything at the end. Now, while waiting to get this VM up and running, let me open another shell. I can give you now an example. Now here I'm on a Mac, as you can see. I'm not more on a Linux system, but nothing changes. I can create my project. Sorry, Vagrant init oil 7 latest. Vagrant app. Same thing. So it does not change. And the same thing can even be executed on a Microsoft Windows host operating system, right? Okay.
So Simon, so we have a base on a Vagrant cloud, so we can put one of the VMs that we would like to jump in, and we just need to download, and Vagrant app will provide us the option to running up the machine. Yes.
Right. Yeah, you can. So this catalog available on Vagrant on the HashiCorp Vagrant Cloud website is public available. You can create your own account. You can even upload your own boxes. So for example, if you are a company and you're used to share huge OVA files to your customers for POC or whatever, the cool option is that you can create the Vagrant box and share the Vagrant box here, and the customer will only have to execute Vagrant init, Vagrant app, and your application will be available for your custer for a POC, really nice. For a POC, for example.
So I need to consider it. I will just send the link to my team after this webinar. So it's good. Thank you.
Yeah, because also the other point, obviously, you do not have to share a huge OVA file, for example, from your network or from your system, and obviously the huge OVA file cannot be sent as an attached file into an email. And at the same time, it does not matter if your customer is today running Windows, Linux, or OS X, whatever. Vagrant is there, VirtualBox is there, Vagrant init, Vagrant app, and the machine and the service is up and running. And the other cool point is that you can automate more things, and now I'm going to show you some examples. Let's see, for example, yeah, this is the Oracle Linux 7. Again, here I'm running on a Mac. Now, by executing Vagrant SSH, I have an Oracle Linux 7 release 7.7 and the proper kernel of an Oracle Linux system. That's all. And again, Vagrant box, so the shared folders already configured and SSH available. Let's see now, for example, what we have on Git. So yeah, let's remove Vagrant. Let's start from an empty file. For example, now what we have on Git is available on github.com Oracle Vagrant boxes. Okay. Now what I have here, as you can see here, is the same thing that is available GitHub. Is the same thing that we have here, right? I cloned the entire content of the GitHub repository that we have. Now, let's do an example. Let's get what we have there for Oracle Linux. Yeah, because maybe it's the simplest example that we can do. Let's see, for example, on Oracle Linux 8. So here we have the Vagrant file. We have also a folder named scripts, right? Into the scripts, we have this kind of shell script that is there. What is the cool point? The cool point is that while building a Vagrant box, you can decide to execute a custom command within the virtual machine on the first boot, okay? And on this example, we have install.sh. What does it mean? It means that Vagrant will import the box, will start the VM, and when the VM is started, the script, this script, so install.sh will be executed. And let's see what the script does. So the script execute an update of the system. The same also applies a couple of changes into etc environment file, and that's all. Okay, so very simple. Just get the system updated. And now, if I go here and I execute, let me set up the proxy, and I execute Vagrant tab. Let's see what happens. Obviously, again, we import the base box like before. Nothing is going to change here. Yeah, important point. There is another box running that is already using 2222. So this VM is going to use 2200 as the port for SSH. Yeah, so the VM is now booting. SSH key inserted into the same. It's also setting the host name for the VM. And now the custom command is going to be executed into the VM. As you can see here, we have installer started up, and yeah, yum already started. As you can see now, the VM is downloading the possible updates available for Oracle Linux 8, and the same will be installed. Now, sorry, here we have a very simple example. Yeah, as you can see, now here different updates are going to be installed on this system, right? And this one is a very simple example, but the cool point here is that you can automate whatever you want. So everything that can be inserted into a script can be automated by Vagrant and VirtualBox. And so this is why, yeah, this is still downloading. Let's see. Let me expand. Oops. Let's see the other options. Let's see, for example, the Oracle Apex. Oracle Apex, for example. So Oracle Apex is Oracle Application Express is a tool that allows you to build web applications. It's another open source tool that is there. It's if you want a bit complex to get Oracle Application Express up and running. And here, by executing 4 different scripts, the entire installation is entirely automated. Let's see, for example, the install. What does
so if you would like to, so you can manage multiple scripts inside the folder, so it will add, so all of the scripts will automatically deploy, yeah, during a Vagrant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can execute more scripts. You can decide when those scripts have to be executed. And the other cool thing that I want to share with you, you can even decide to have more port forwarding. Because if you, for example, Paweł, if you think to your application could be a web application listening on port 8000, right? You supply the Vagrant box or the Vagrant file to the customer, and the customer execute Vagrant init, Vagrant app, and the VM is up and running. But that said, you also want your customer accessing to the web application, right? The cool point here is that you can decide which ports will be redirected to the host. So if, for example, if your application has a service listening on port 8000, you can decide that the port 8000 of your VM will be also available on the host IP address on the same port or even another port. And for example, on this solution, we have 3 different ports. We have the Oracle Database port. This one is the Enterprise Manager Oracle Database port, and this one is the Web Application port. So if I'm going to start this Vagrant box, what I'll get at the end, it will be that the web application will listen on port 8080, even on the host. And so if I want to get access, I just have to open my browser, HTTP localhost 8080.
Okay, right.
I do not need to open a console on the VM. I do not need to install a browser on the VM to get access to the web application. I can use port forwarding, and the same port is available on my host.
Okay, Simon, let's also mention, because we are a little bit running out of time, the option you mentioned about the exporting the VM into the cloud. So I'm curious about this feature. So.
Yeah, very quickly, you're right. Yeah, this is VirtualBox running on my Mac again. So first of all, we have a new cloud entry here, and here you can manage the cloud profiles for your environment. Now, the cool point is that now on the export functionality, and it's a common, this one is a common window because it's the same that you have to use while exporting, for example, to OVF or OVA files. You can decide to pick up your VM, that can be, for example, Mint. And on the format, you can decide to use Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. And here you have your Oracle Cloud accounts. You can decide which one to leverage. Continue. Here you have machine creation. You have different options for the machine creation on the cloud, where one of them is ask me before starting the export, ask me once the export is finished. Yeah, it's better to show this one. Now, VirtualBox is connecting to the web service API exposed by Oracle Cloud. Here we have the bucket, or where to put the image. I can decide which type of instance I will run on the Oracle Cloud. for example, para-virtualized, and click on export. And
is the machine must be shut down before, or it can be live or during
no. You have to shut down the VM to get the same exported. Now here you can decide which kind of configuration your VM will get on the cloud. So you can decide the shape, number of CPUs, and the amount of RAM at the end. You can decide which virtual cloud network will be leveraged. You can decide which subnet. You can decide if the instance running on the cloud will get or not a public IP address. And while creating on create, the export process will start and your VM will be uploaded and then started on the Oracle Cloud. And this is the export phase. Now I'm not going to upload my 50 gigabyte VM, even if it's not 50. 50 is the disk size that is going to get while running on the cloud. I think that this Ubuntu should be 2 or 3 gigabytes, but obviously with my bandwidth, I cannot manage at the same time Zoom as well as an upload. That said, the other option that we have is related to the import. Import can be done from a local file system if I'm going to import an OVF file, as well as Oracle Cloud. Now, here, VirtualBox is already talking with the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure Web Services API. And based on my account, I can see the list of VMs that I have now running on the cloud. This is the list of VMs running on the cloud on my tenant, right? And I can click on one of them. And here decide what will be the configuration for the VM imported. So I can say Ubuntu from OCI. This is a Linux system. This is Ubuntu. Yeah, maybe it's not 32. And I can decide to have 4 gigabytes of RAM. And here, another cool point, into the description, I get an ID that will allow me to identify that this VM is the same VM with this specific ID running on the cloud.
Okay.
And by clicking on the import process will start. Now, I started it, but I'm going to stop it. Otherwise, I'll lose.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
I will lose the connection from Zoom.
Okay, so quite simple. What about the other clouds? Are you planning to get this option, or right now just to keep the Oracle cloud infrastructure?
Actually, we are still working on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure because we think that the experience can be improved. For example, we are working on a new option for the virtual disks to get virtual disks, zipped virtual disk, and so the possible upload or download will be even faster than today. That said, we are still thinking on it. So we didn't decide if it's something that will happen and when can happen. We already have a huge amount of work, also because we are doing a lot on the Oracle Cloud, but at the same time we are also paying attention on the requests coming from the VirtualBox community. So we are not working on the cloud does not mean that we are now ignoring requests coming from the VirtualBox community. We are still working on those.
Okay, Simon, so before we'll summarize the question, the most, let's say, common usage of the VirtualBox and your recommendation here.
I can share my personal experience. It happens to me, I think, at least daily, if not more times in a day, that I need to test or verify that something is there on a specific Linux distribution or a specific Oracle Linux release. Or I need to possibly reproduce a bug into a specific kernel release. Yeah, by leveraging Vagrant, I can get a system up and running in a couple of minutes, and it saves me a huge amount of time. That said, another use case that can be really interesting is really for developers. Personally, I think that It could be, and it's also expected that a developer is not also a system administrator, right? And so maybe getting an operating system installed or an operating system set up and running could take hours, if not days. And leveraging this kind of solution can save a huge amount of time. And the cool point is that it does not matter which operating system you run. And if you work on a team by leveraging a Vagrant box, you will be sure that everyone is using the same operating system, the same libraries, the same Python release, the same PHP release, and there is no difference between different people working on the same project.
Okay. So let's summarize, and we'll go to the QA session. Okay.
Yeah.
So could you a little bit tell about the future of the community version? So you're working for many years with this product. So maybe some hints for the community. Where are we going with the VirtualBox?
Yeah, we just had a couple of weeks ago an internal meeting dedicated to the roadmap for VirtualBox. And now we are really evaluating if we will have a possible VirtualBox 6.2 release or even a 7.0 release of VirtualBox. It really depends how we will address the different enhancement and new features that we would like to see into the project. So we can think to have a reduced amount of new features and get all of them addressed into 6.2 to then address many others into the possible 7.0, or get all of them and immediately start to work on the possible 7.0 VirtualBox release and get the people dedicated there while obviously maintaining the existing 6.1 release. Again, when I also talk with the VirtualBox guys, so the VirtualBox engineering team, we always have two main topics, two main targets. We have, yeah, obviously, really, I'm not kidding. We always pay attention to our customers as well as our community, and there is no precedence or no difference in terms of importance between the two. So we really keep attention and keep our eyes on both. And into each release, we always try to address customer request or customer enhancement as well as community enhancement, right?
You know the numbers, how many people using VirtualBox today worldwide?
We do not have that kind of statistics, unfortunately.
Just curious, yeah.
Yeah, we do not know. We know that, or we expect that a huge amount of people is today using VirtualBox. It's something that is there for a long time, and it's always the same product. Even if, for example, you change the operating system running on your laptop, it's easy to use. And when I talk also with the VirtualBox engineering team, I always ask them, yeah, we have to keep it easy because it's important. When something is easy to use, it can be leveraged by skilled people as well as novice, right? If a product starts to become a bit complex to be managed, at that point, you can lose a huge amount of people because it's too complex to manage. It's too complex, for example, to build a VM or to manage a VM. And so this is something that we always think on. Keep it simple, keep it easy.
Okay. So I think we can go right now, Simon, you think, the QA session?
Yep. Yeah, thank you, Paweł. I don't know now if we have any question or any other question. I would like to thank you again for the opportunity, and yeah, thank you, and obviously also thanks the Open Virtualization Pro professional community for this kind of opportunity.
Thank you, Simon. So that was a great session. So let's right now, it's not the last one. So we started, Simon, but we have a plan for the next one. But
Yep.
thank you for getting a really good deep dive into the how to start playing with the VirtualBox. What's the value behind it? So let's wait and if you have any question right now, this is a time for the questions. People are saying awesome, wonderful, this is great. So this is, it's not a question, but I think so 100% attendees keep 1 hour. So I'm guessing was a quite big value behind the scenes. So thank you a lot. Good demo. Yeah, the migration to Aussie is a really good cool thing we see in a chat.
Yeah, thank you too, guys.
Thank you and dziękuję, Mariusz, for that. So Simon, I think you got most of the, you know, people don't ask because you mentioned most of the things that we planned. So again, huge thank you for your time in this little bit crazy scenario where we are right now.
Wow.
So planning the next webinars with you.
Yep.
Thank you for all of the attendees, and you know, go to the Open Virtualization Pro portal, subscribe us so you will get the notification when we plan the next webinars. And again, my special guest was Simon Coter from the Oracle, responsible for the Linux and all of the virtualization stuff. Yes.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you again, and obviously to everyone, feel free to get in touch with us. With the VirtualBox community on virtualbox.org, as well as on GitHub, where we have the different open source projects. So the Vagrant box is not the only one. Yeah, we will be able to possibly even improve the possible experience.
Yep. So have a great day for all of you, and let's keep in touch, and hopefully see you on the next one of the webinars.
Yep. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye. Thank you.